I'm tired of being a Manchester United manager. My mental health is at risk. Ruben Amorim's angry letter amid Glazer's decision to sack him following disgraceful Carabao Cup exit. The footballing world has been left reeling after Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim penned an explosive, emotional letter following his team's catastrophic Carabao Cup elimination at the hands of League Two side Grimsby Town. What should have been a routine fixture in a competition often used by elite clubs to rotate their squads turned into a night of humiliation, chaos, and ultimately, personal despair for the Portuguese coach. United's 2-2 draw at Blundell Park, followed by a marathon 12-11 penalty shootout defeat, is already being described as one of the darkest nights in the club's modern history. Yet beyond the result, what has shocked many is Amorim's candid admission about the toll of the job on his mental health, a rare and brutally honest glimpse into the pressure cooker that is managing Manchester United in the post-Ferguson era. A letter that rocked Old Trafford. Amorim's open letter, reportedly drafted in the immediate aftermath of the match, is raw in tone and uncompromising in content. Greater than, I'm tired of being a Manchester United manager. My mental health is at risk, he wrote, capturing the exhaustion and disillusionment that has quietly festered behind the scenes. He described every day at Old Trafford as a battle, not just against opponents but also against structural issues within the club, unrelenting fan scrutiny, and a disconnect between ownership and footballing ambition. The letter is not only a resignation of spirit but also a symbolic cry for help. It reveals how modern football, at the highest level, can grind even the most resilient individuals into disillusionment. The match that sparked a meltdown. On paper, United's clash with Grimsby should have been straightforward. The Carabao Cup has historically been an opportunity for top-flight managers to rotate players, experiment tactically, and build squad morale. Instead, it became a perfect storm of errors. Grimsby struck first through Charles Vernam, capitalizing on poor defensive organization. Then came the moment that defined the first half, a high cross into the United box, which Andre Onana misjudged badly, dropping the ball under minimal pressure and allowing Terrell Warren to score the Mariners' second. The scenes at Blundell Park were surreal. United's travelling supporters watched in disbelief as their team, packed with internationals, were bullied off the ball by fourth-tier players who showed more hunger, discipline, and determination. Chants of "sacked in the morning" rang around the ground, mocking Amorim and adding to the sense of humiliation. At halftime, Amorim made sweeping changes, introducing Bruno Fernandes and Brian Mbeumo. United looked more coherent, and Mbeumo's smart finish offered a glimmer of hope. In stoppage time, Harry Maguire bundled home an equaliser, dragging the tie into penalties. But in the shootout, after 23 successful spot kicks, it was Matheus Cunha who faltered, missing the decisive penalty. Grimsby's players and supporters celebrated wildly, storming the pitch, while United's players stood crestfallen. For Amorim, the final whistle may have signalled more than just elimination. It symbolized the collapse of his already fragile tenure. Amorim's fragile standing. Pressure at Manchester United is unforgiving, and Amorim has been walking a tightrope since taking charge. His appointment was seen as bold, a progressive, young coach with fresh ideas from Sporting Lisbon, but he has struggled to impose his philosophy on a fractured, inconsistent squad. BBC Radio 5 Live pundit Chris Sutton voiced what many felt. Greater than, if Grimsby Town win tonight, I honestly don't think Ruben Amorim can come back from this. Amorim's critics point to disjointed tactics, questionable substitutions, and an inability to establish defensive stability. His handling of the goalkeeper situation, particularly the decision to reinstate Onana after early season struggles, has been heavily scrutinized. Others argue he has been let down by a squad assembled through years of poor recruitment, burdened by inflated salaries and mismatched playing styles. What is clear is that Amorim now sits at the eye of the storm, with few allies left. The Glazers' shadow. At the heart of this crisis lies Manchester United's ownership. The Glazer family, who acquired the club in 2005, have faced near-constant hostility from supporters who accuse them of prioritizing commercial gain over sporting excellence. Amorim's letter made thinly veiled references to this ownership dilemma. Greater than, I came here to restore Manchester United to its former glory, but the obstacles are overwhelming. Those obstacles include years of mismanagement, revolving door managers, and incoherent transfer strategies. Despite spending hundreds of millions on players, United remain far from challenging the Premier League elite, let alone replicating the dominance of the Ferguson years. Fans have long argued that the Glazers see the club as a financial asset rather than a footballing institution. The decision to reportedly sack Amorim, despite his short tenure and incomplete project, is seen by many as yet another reactionary move that prioritizes short-term optics over long-term rebuilding. The mental health dimension. Perhaps the most striking aspect of this saga is Amorim's openness about mental health. In the hyper-masculine, results-driven world of football, vulnerability is rarely shown, especially by managers who are expected to embody strength, authority, and resilience. By admitting that his mental health is at risk, Amorim has pulled back the curtain on the brutal reality of elite management. The stress of constant media scrutiny, fan expectations, and boardroom interference can erode even the strongest personalities. For United managers, this pressure is amplified by the club's towering history and the lingering shadow of Sir Alex Ferguson. Amorim's words may spark a broader conversation across football. Managers, like players, are human beings, susceptible to burnout, anxiety, and depression. His honesty could encourage others in similar positions to speak out, challenging the culture of silence that has dominated football for decades. Grimsby's glorious night. While United's disaster has dominated headlines, Grimsby Town deserve their share of the spotlight. Their victory was not a fluke but a masterclass in determination and tactical discipline. Manager David Artell set his team up to frustrate United, pressing intelligently and exploiting defensive lapses. For Grimsby supporters, the night was a dream come true. After years of battling relegations and obscurity, this victory represents a new chapter in the club's history. The pitch invasion that followed the final whistle was a celebration of football's most romantic truth, that on any given night, even the smallest clubs can topple giants. The road ahead for United. As the dust settles, Manchester United face existential questions. Will Amorim remain in charge, or will the Glazers pull the trigger as many expect? If he departs, who would be willing to take on a role so fraught with pressure, dysfunction, and scrutiny? United's problems run deeper than one manager or one defeat. Years of poor planning, disjointed recruitment, and boardroom misalignment have created a culture of chaos. The fans' patience has worn thin, and without a clear vision, the club risks spiraling further away from the summit of English and European football. Amorim's emotional letter may go down as a defining moment in the club's modern history, not because of what it says about his tenure, but because of what it reveals about Manchester United as an institution. A club once synonymous with resilience, glory, and tradition now finds itself adrift, consumed by short-termism and weighed down by its past. Conclusion. The defeat to Grimsby Town will live in infamy for Manchester United. Yet beyond the shock result, it has exposed deeper fissures in the club's foundation. Ruben Amorim's words have resonated not just with United fans but with the global footballing community, offering a stark reminder of the human cost behind the beautiful game. The coming weeks will likely determine Amorim's fate, but his legacy may already be sealed, not as a successful manager, but as a figure who dared to voice the unbearable strain of leading Manchester United in an era defined by turmoil. Football, in its unpredictability, produces both moments of ecstasy and despair. For Grimsby Town, it was a night of triumph that will be cherished for generations. For Manchester United, it was a sobering reminder that without vision, unity, and respect for those tasked with leadership, no amount of history or money can guarantee success. What remains uncertain is whether United will learn from this humiliation or whether it will become yet another chapter in a decade-long story of decline.